Wonder, written by Kira Freed. Introduction. Imagine a place where thousands of black leaves stretch out on Labrador to soak up the morning sun. Imagine a place where giant tortoises feed on caterpillars that grow as big as trees. Imagine an island on the equator where penguins swim and fur seals rest on coral beaches. Welcome to Galapagos Islands. These islands have fascinated people since the first visitors arrived in 1535. The volcanic landscape and exotic wildlife spark our imagination from the fire. These islands remind us of the raw power of our planet, and they remind us of rapidly disappearing and spoiled places where nature remains mostly untouched by development and technology. Location. The Galapagos Islands are located in the Pacific Ocean, about 1966 kilometers off the northern coast of South America. They lie along the equator and are part of the country Ecuador. There are 5 major islands and many smaller ones of various sizes. The climate of the island is surprisingly cool for their location on the equator. This is due to the humidor current, cold water that flows north from Antarctica. The cold water explains why animals usually found in colder climates, such as penguins and sea lions, can live in the Galapagos. Geology. The Galapagos Islands were created by volcanic activities, and they continue to be among of the most volcanically active islands in the world. Scientists believe that the islands are located over a hot spot beneath the Earth's crust. Hot spots contain more heat than other areas, causing molten lava to rise up from the crust. Scientists think that each island was formed from solidified lava building up on the seafloor and eventually building up above the surface of water. First contact. The Galapagos Islands were first discovered in 1535 when a ship carrying the Bishop of Panama to Peru was blown off course. The bishop recorded his observations of the islands to a letter to the King of Spain. At that time, there were no humans living on the islands. During the 1700s and 1800s, the Galapagos became a refuge for pirates and whalers because of the island's remote location. Giant tortoises were a favorite food source because they were easy to capture and keep. The number of these gentle creatures were reduced from several hundred thousand to about 15,000 by the year 1800. Darwin visit. The most famous visitor to the Galapagos Island was Charles Darwin, a British naturalist who settled there in 1835. He collected many wildlife specimens and wrote detailed accounts of his observations. Darwin was fascinated by the amazing diversity or variety of life on the islands. He noticed that similar species or kinds of animals developed different shapes on different islands. Because of his work, we now understand much more about variety, nature, wildlife. Scientists and tourists alike have been fascinated by the diversity of native animal and plant life on the Galapagos Islands. New species are continually being discovered. A 1996 expedition took scientists 14 meters underwater to study the ocean surrounding the islands. Many new species were discovered, including jellyfish, deep-sea moral eels, sea cucumber, and deep-water red octopus. The scientists discovered a new species of marine life on almost every day of their expedition. Reptile. Some of Galapagos' most famous residents is reptile. The island was named for one of the most well-known reptiles, the giant tortoise. This herbivorous reptile can live 150 years or more. Males can grow to 1.8 meters in length and can weigh up to 300 kilograms. 14 different kinds of Galapagos tortoise exist. Several kinds have become extinct, and the others are protected. Galapagos tortoise are divided into two groups based on the shape of the shells or carapace. One group has a round, dome-shaped shell, a short neck, and short legs. The other group has saddle-shaped shells that raise in front, a long neck, and long legs. Marine iguanas, the world's only sea-going lizards, are another well-known Galapagos reptile. They have been compared to small dragons because of their leathery skin, curved claws, and back spines. They can grow to a length of 1 meter. These tropical lizards were able to stay underwater for up to an hour while feeding on green algae, their main source. Marine iguanas have dark skin that helps them absorb the sun's heat. After they emerge from the cold ocean waters, marine iguanas also control body temperature with their posture. They often sun themselves on level rocks as the sun rises in the morning. When the heat becomes too intense, they raise up on their legs to protect their underside from the hot rocks and to increase air circulation. After a day in the cold ocean water, they wind up together at night to conserve body heat. Mammals. Many Galapagos mammals are animals. Those normally found far from the equator. Galapagos sea lions are marine gymnasts of the islands. Their playful antics amuse tourists, who sometimes receive friendly gifts from these animals. Sea lions live in large colonies. Female sea lions, known as cow, gather on beaches to nap. Adult males or bulls are territorial and extremely aggressive during the mating season. Galapagos fur seals, rather than sea lion fur seals, were hunted nearly to extinction because of their thick fur, which was valuable. Unlike sea lion, fur seals live in steep, rocky shores. They fear humans and are difficult to approach. Birds. Many of the Galapagos' most interesting residents are birds. Frigate birds are among the most striking birds in the world. They can measure up to 1 meter. Wait a minute. Wait me a minute. Yeah. 1 meter tall and wingspan up to 2.1 meters. During the mating seasons, hundreds of male gathers to attract the attention of females. Each male inflates his right red corset like a balloon while shaking outstretched wings and making repeated piercing cries. Galapagos penguins are among the most surprising native animals on the islands. We usually think of penguins as living close to Antarctica. Galapagos penguins are the most northern penguins. They only weigh 2 to 2.5 kilograms, stand to 40 to 45 centimeters. One of the big challenges is to stay cool in the tropical heat. They do this by holding up their wings so that air moves around the side of their bodies. They also stay cool by keeping their feet shaded or by taking a refreshing dip in the ocean. Galapagos penguins swim underwater in high speed, using their wings as propellers and their feet as rudders. They feed on small fish that they catch by hunting in groups. They live in colonies and mate for life. Plant life. The plant life on the Galapagos Islands is just as remarkable on the animal life. There are about 506 kinds of native plants, and almost one-third of them are found nowhere else on Earth. Scalizier is a tree unique gallico plant. It is a member of daisy family and can grow in humid areas and higher elevations, and it grows in humid areas and is often covered with tropical flowers called orchids. The prickly pear cactus grows low to the ground on many of the islands, but on the island of Santa Fe, it grows into trees. The pink flowers and fruit of this cactus are favorite food of the land. Iguanas, they often grow the cactus pests on the ground to remove spines before eating them. These creatures often sit under a tree, waiting for a pet to drop the ground. Threats to survival. Almost all of the islands in the island chains in the world have experienced many of the loss of their native plant animals. The Galapagos Islands have lost fewer native forms so far, but serious threats exist. The most serious problem is the presence of non-native species brought by humans. Cats, dogs, pigs, goats, horses, donkeys, cattle, and rats have been all brought to the island. Many of them have feral or wild have multiplied rapidly. Tortoise eggs or hatchlings are eaten by many feral animals, as on other native animals. Feral animals also eat plants that native animals would otherwise eat. The islands have many programs destroyed on non-native animals so that the native ability can be restored. And scientists are raising tortoises in captivity to try to push the number and increase their survival rates. Another serious problem is the increasing number of people on the islands, both residents and visitors. In 1940, only 600 people lived on the islands, but in 1949, many people fled the island after a major earthquake in Ecuador. Tourism in Galapagos Islands skyrocketed in the 1980s, bringing more residents and many more visitors. By 1997, the population on the island had grown about 15,000. With more people come many risks. New harmful species are more likely to be brought to the islands. Natural resources are being overused for building materials and firewood. More animals are being hunted for food and export, both on land and in the ocean. Pollution from tourists and supply both is increasing. In 2001, an oil tanker ran aground off one of the islands, causing a huge oil spill. Experts from around the world shocked with the government of Ecuador, local scientists, and massive cleanup effort. To help preserve Galapagos Islands, the government of Ecuador declared 95% of the land were national park in 1959. In 1986, a law was passed to protect 69,930 square kilometers of the oceans around the land. Strict laws are now limits for visitations to the islands. Visitors must be accompanied by certified guides who are trained to keep the conservation in mind at all times. Visitors are not allowed to bring food or drink in order to prevent the introduction of foreign rancid insects or bacteria. The law also protects animals and plants from human interference such as touching, feeding, or littering. In 1959, Charles Darwin Foundation was created to help the government of Ecuador make smart decisions about the conservation on the islands. This foundation operates the Charles Darwin Research Station on Santa Cruz Island, so that scientists and the public can continue to learn about these extraordinary islands. Many educational programs, both on the islands and around the world, have teach the public about Galapagos conservation effect. Conclusion: our planet is now facing mass extinction. Up to 75% of all life forms. The Galapagos Islands are one of the last places on Earth that contains so many rare life forms in such a small area. Many are found nowhere else on Earth. Scientists, conservationists, and other concerned people who value nature are working to safeguard the Galapagos Islands for future generations. These islands are natural treasures that must be preserved and protected.
Good job! Oh yeah! Click on the items